Hey guys, you're about to watch part 3 of myself with Brian Carroll and Dr. Stu McGill talking about rehabbing my lower back. And if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, please go watch those before you watch this one. I'll put them in a card here as well as in the description. And in this episode, Dr. McGill, we've done the assessment. We've talked about what happened with my lower back. Now in this episode, he's looking at my MRI. He's going to talk about what he's seeing on my MRI. And then we're going to actually go to the gym. And there he's going to instruct me in the McGill Big 3. So the McGill Big 3 are the bird dog, the McGill curl up, and the side plank. And those are exercises I do every single day. He's going to talk about those, why I was doing them wrong at the time, and how to do them correctly. And then he also goes through my squat and my deadlift. And we actually do some squatting and deadlifting, very light weights. And they kind of critique my form, give me feedback. And for those of you who like to tell me my squat form sucks, I'm sorry to tell you that neither of them said that I needed to squat more upright. In fact, they both acknowledged, Brian, I think, acknowledged it straight up in the video that my physique will not allow for that. My levers will not allow for that. So anyways, but there are some things that they did give me feedback on that I can do better. And so I'm really looking forward to getting this rehab done and being able to lift again. So if you guys aren't already, make sure you're following along on Instagram. Like and subscribe, or like the video and share the video, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I've been kind of going through a lot of my rehab exercises on Instagram, and I'll probably put together a video of those as well as kind of an addendum part 4 to this video. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this video. It's actual in-gym McGill putting his hands on me and showing me how to move. I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. Enjoy. Well, I know when I was first getting into powerlifting, I made a lot of progress strength-wise. I did very high volume, very high frequency. I was squatting 3-4 days a week, deadlifting 3 days a week, 2-3 days a week, bench pressing, 3-4 days a week.
That's a lot of work.
A lot of volume. I got very strong that way until my body gave out on me.
So I'm seeing great symmetry and density. So this is the porterhouse steak, by the way. So there's the T-bone right there.
Yep.
And that's the tenderloin of the psoas muscle and the erector spinae multifidi longissimus and iliocostalis. Symmetric both sides. It's very dense. I mean, that's not a fatty steak. That's not grade A. That's too strong to be grade A.
Yeah. Obviously, with your physiology, you're not going to be able to squat upright like people on the internet say you should. The key is locking that in and not moving.
I'm fortunate in that, my hands are made for hook grip.
Listen carefully to what I say now. I want you to squeeze me as hard as you can, because if you don't, you're going to die. Now, think of what I just said.
Okay. Turn it on.
Got it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty serious now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's good. That's what I want.
Okay.
So the strength was coming through your full hand, and the outside of your hand is good. From a neurological point of view, you left a lot on the table.
Oh, really?
Oh, you came out of a soft body. Tighten it down, man. Make a fist. Make a fist. Pull down. Now, with your toes and the heel, that's it. Pulls, and I need to see it in your eyes now.
Okay.
You want to murder me.
Okay.
And that's why I said no hats. I got to read those eyes and read in the face. And I'm getting some strength now. Okay. Just a little bit more. You're too far on your heels for just a minute. And just soften your knees just a bit. Thank you.
A lot of sense.
Yeah.
Grip the floor.
Your neck is soft. You're leaving it on the table. Lock it in. Lock it in. Yeah, and don't crush me anymore. But with my fingers. Now push that in through your hand, and don't grip it with your fingers yet. Grip it with your hand. Hand. Get this strength going. Now wrap each finger on top of that strength.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's better. It's important to get the strength through your hand And there's all the tricks of when you're hooking up to, I'm gonna lift and I'm gonna bend the bar. But look what it did. I posted down with the whole of latissimus dorsi.
You're right. When I pull with straps, I feel myself
You get
much
loose.
looser here.
You get loose.
Whereas when I'm locked into the bar,
Yeah.
I can feel.
So
trying to
we
squeeze
talked
into the
about
bar.
polluting the engram, polluting that muscle memory. You can't afford this now. You're at the elite level and you just corrupted the pattern by an odd pattern. You taught your brain to lift that way. You can't afford this anymore, man. Anyway,
Yeah.
please ditch the straps.
Got it. Done.
Good.
Should everyone be doing belt squats or good mornings or whatever? And we were like, no, you're not going to pigeonhole us in that question. It's going to depend. And so he asked, what do you think about belt squats? They are better on the back for some people. And we're like, yeah. So I said, but here's another thing. When I've learned with that particular design of belt squat, it's going to depend on how it's made. That one shears the shit out of my knees. Just the way it comes up, it's not a good build. Now the pit shark does not do anything to my knees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the pit shark when I used it. It felt
So
very smooth.
It really just depends. I mean, how many analogies did you use earlier about just 1% here, 5% there?
Heads up.
You can't put 95% effort into 100% lift. It doesn't work that way. They're always on the verge of kind of being overtrained at times, and then they get that rest, the peak taper, then they go in and they crush it at the meet.
Yep.
So it's not always going to feel so gratifying in training. That's one thing that I've learned. And then depending on what he wanted to work on first, we could get him warmed up and put him under a bar and kind of play with his the contours of your back like we were doing over here.
Yeah,
and then we could maybe put him on some low blocks and work on his wedge, slow him down out of the bottom a bit, make sure he's pulling his lats down.
That's it. That sounds fantastic.
Great. Okay.
Let's do platform.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you want to just face out this way.
Okay, hold on. Show me your bird dog. I wanted to see what he would do. Okay, when are you gonna start doing one? Shape your back. Shape it right. Spread your hips apart. Okay, brush your knee out behind you and push your heel away. And see, you're just lifting your leg up like this, like you did to your back.
Extend
Go down
it.
here, push your knee away. Now here, you're hanging your arm out, I don't know what. Get to work, make a fist. Come on, get to town. Come on, gather this.
Push the earth
Be
away.
a power lifter. Push the earth away.
Yeah, you just got 2 inches taller, man.
I want to see some beads of sweat now.
He's going to.
Now release the tension and sweep the floor with your hand and your knee. No motion here. Okay, and out you go. Lower your leg and push your heel. Get to work.
Get that hip extended.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay, do you get the difference now?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that when we're criticizing our own lift, it isn't that we hate ourselves or we don't have a good self-image, but we know that it can always be a little bit better, and that's what makes elite athletes good, better, and then great eventually, by always chasing that perfect form. We talk about in Gifted Injury that I'm still to this day chasing my perfect squat, bench and deadlift technique. I could always be bending the bar more. I could always be a little more proficient in my path. I could always be rooting into the ground more. There's always something that I could have done better. Spreading the floor, hip hinge.
No, I did it wrong.
Keep your chin.
Okay, no, pause. Pause. Oh, no, pause. Now lean tower forward through your ankles. There you are. Do you see how you're learning that? There's
His back contour stayed.
Yeah,
the same.
there's your corrective line
Yep.
a little bit. Explore your feet. Learn how to correct through your
Oh, I
feet.
see what you're saying.
Beautiful. And notice his back's not changing. That change of direction, that line of drive isn't changing from your back. Correct through here, but just having that rooted foot into the floor. Doubles, triples, sets of 5, and I went with a higher volume of singles. Maybe it's not carrying over to, let's say 5 sets of 5, 25 reps. I'm not doing 25 singles, but I'm doing 15 singles or 10 singles, but they're maximum effort each time. We talked about earlier how maybe the first couple reps are maximum effort, not intensity, but effort as far as
Your focus.
Yeah, you're focused, you're locked in. The first 2, 3 may be good, but as it starts approaching 80, 85%, you're going into survival mode, and that's not. You don't want the technique to get sloppy. So when you revert back to singles, it may or may not be dialed in. You might start reverting back to some of those grinder reps that you were doing for your 4th and 5th reps. And
Yeah.
it's something fun. We could pull that carpet out in the next one. Sorry about that.
I have trouble getting down to parallel.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing with unloaded bar for sure. Just tight hamstrings.
See, if I had to go any lower than that, I have to flex my spine.
We don't want you to break form to get down there.
Okay, rack. So can you come on over here? Just come on over. Just come on. Come on. It's okay. Good. Let me give you a bit more of a squeeze here. There. You're good and lax through the shoulders. Do you feel a bit of a squeeze here?
Yeah.
No pain though on this.
No pain.
Okay. Give it to me. Let it go. Let it go in your back. Come on. Let it go. Nice. Spread your hips apart just a little bit. Boy, you love to bend. Wind up your hips. Okay, good. And shape your back so it's nice. Not just ease into it. I don't want any tension. Now, with each elbow, push down into me about 2 pounds.
Okay.
There. That's about 10 pounds, but that's good. 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. Let it go. Give to me. Come on. Give it to me. Thank you. Now, no pain?
No pain.
Good. Push down into me the same amount. Into me. Beautiful. Now we're going to stand up. Okay. Lunge up the way I taught you. Tall kneel. Pull your hips through. Pull your hips through. No. Pull your hips through. Completely. Thank you. Now.
Now. The full thing.
Pull your hips through. Tall kneel. Drive up. Fabulous. Now take the toe in. Now rack the bar and tell me how you feel. Now just pause for a sec. Do you notice the difference? We've de-stressed your wrists. A little stiff. You've got under here a little bit better. Lift just a little bit more with your head.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There. Do you notice the difference?
Feel tighter back here.
Well, but do you also feel a better ability to be there?
Yeah.
Fabulous. You rob power if you're back here.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a good wedge.
That's nice. Now I like what I'm seeing. Now, push your tongue hard to the roof of the mouth. That's the attitude. Fabulous.
Oh, you're all right. You're all right. How do you feel?
Felt pretty good. I didn't have any pain at all.
Knees, that was your knees a couple times there?
Yeah, they cracked, snap, crackle. I never had any knee pain, but
What did you see from out there, Stu?
If you think to complete a bit more fully, you're happy with being here.
So go all the way.
Well,
So
has
just-
the intent to go
I got
all
you.
the way.
Yeah, so
The
the
intent
way you were
is-
rebuilding his coming off the ground to rising up, that same come. And then when you stand up, come through with
through.
it. Yes.
But even that intent will start sooner in the drive out of the hole.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Wedge the
you-
hips
you-
forward.
but here's your final intent, and I think your final intent, if it was here, it would get translated into a drive lower
Okay.
down.
Hips. Double cam. Drive. Good.
Get the head up.
That's it. Look at where you want to go.
Yeah.
Look up here.
Yeah.
Keep it fixed. Drive.
Up here. There.
Yeah, so if you're being, each room that you lift in is different. You might
Just-
have really tall ceilings. You might have shorter ones like this.
Yeah, and usually I'm used to locking in on one spot.
Not down, somewhere in this
above eye level.
region.
Okay.
And keep that gaze, no matter if you're in the hole or you're
Yep.
finishing the lift. It stays fixed. With
I hate
this.
squat. I used to have a squat right in front of the
Right here.
wall. I hated it.
Drive all the way through. Keep the head fixed. Drive.
Nice.
Back in.
That looked great.
Back in. Don't change anything.
There you go, and hit second gear. Now I want to see
Yeah.
the head.
See, that's muscle memory.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you pull your shoes off for us, please?
Get your tongue ready. Get your tongue ready on the roof of your mouth. Take your air. and push and stiffen. That's the starter. That's better.
That same look you gave Stu when you were trying to break his hand
Yeah,
earlier.
I want you to kill. That's the grip.
Lock it in.
Now lock it in.
Bend the bar.
Bend it, twist the flaps. Head up.
You alright?
Yeah, look.
And
Just
you don't
slipped.
lose your toes there.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good.
No, but I mean, what should happen happened.
You're
The bar
spreading
came
the floor.
off. The bar came off the floor before.
And
I
you're
started
spreading the
pushing
floor.
my feet. That's right.
Grip. Squeeze those toes into the deck. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. There you go. There you go. Bend the bar. Wedge.
Set the tongue. Push. Head up. Ah, there's your head. Think it through. Be more cerebral.
Maintain that head neck.
Now think of where you're going. Bend the bar now. Think where you're going with your hips and your head. Nice. How'd that feel?
Good.
That looks clean. That's clean and efficient.
That's right, because it feels shorter.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It
That's
feels.
exactly what. That's a
It
nice way to
feels
say it.
like a hip pop.
It's efficient.
I learned a ton today, especially with things that I thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing, and other things where I knew I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know what I was doing. So one of the things that I saw in the videos where I would watch you coaching people was talking about athleticism and talking about generating power. Now I feel like I have a better understanding of that tightness and that stiffness, because just getting down to get into a, what did you call it, a high kneel?
Oh, tall kneeling.
Tall kneeling. To get into tall kneeling, that took me 5 minutes of coaching to actually learn how to do that. So this has been an invaluable experience for me. Do you feel better about what you saw with regards to me getting under the bar, even though I haven't earned it, and then some of the changes in just how I move from day to day?
No, of course I'm very pleased, Layne. You're wonderful to coach you, and you know, just to reiterate a little bit there, I think all we did was remind you of a few things. And pain and injury is a terrible corrupter of good, efficient movement, the efficient movement that Brian talks about. And to, you know, if you've damaged your foot, you limp.
Yep.
And when your foot heals, you still carry the legacy of that limp. Well, when you put a few 100 pounds on that damaged foot with the limp, you're going to be in big trouble. And it's the same thing coming out of back pain. So I think that's all we did today, was just to remind you of some of the things you already used to know before pain did its work on your nervous system and your body.
I think one of the things I read in Back Mechanic that really stuck with me, and Brian, you said this the other week when we talked, you said, the more pain-free days you have, the more pain-free days you will have.
Can have.
Can have.
Yeah.
So, and I think it probably works in reverse too, right? The more pain you have, the more pain you can have. And I was guilty of, at times, being in pain and starting to press to find that and see if it was still there. And one of the things that I remember stuck out to me in the Back Mechanic was, stop trying to find that. Find where you have no pain and build off of that.
Perfect.
I mean, so that made a lot in my mind about, you know, first off, guys, if I can emphasize something to you, if you're hurting, stop whatever is making it hurt. You're not gonna, you can't win whatever meet or whatever event you're trying to get to in one day, but you can certainly lose it. And I know for me, many times or several times when I got injured, it's days when sometimes, well, a couple times there was no signs, but a couple times there were signs, and I ignored those signs because I said, I've got to go in, I've got to get this done. Whereas if I'd taken a day, maybe been in a better mental state, had less pain, or no pain, rather, preferably, I wouldn't have made those same mistakes because I wouldn't be getting that negative feedback from my mind. So you came back from, terrible injuries, and it was less than a year for you. Now, when you decided to do a meet again, what was Stu's reaction?
Well, you know, we'll take it back a little bit to 2013 before the meet in 2014. And my back was damaged because I did a lot of foolish things, not just in training, but like Stu talked about a minute ago about movement patterns day to day, and everything became cumulative. So Stu was very open with me about how he thought that he could get me pain-free, but I should probably assess how much I want to proceed ahead with powerlifting and enjoy a pain-free life. So that was his thought there. But immediately he knew that once I became pain-free that I wanted to get back to powerlifting. So I did everything in my power to control. When we talked about earlier, control the things you can control. I moved well, and we ended up building enough pain-free capacity to get back on the platform. And a lot of people would say, why would you maybe throw it all in the wind possibly and end up hurt again? And I think as elite athletes and people that have goals and want to hit numbers that people have never hit before, or not many people have seen before, there's something in us that you can't really describe, right?
A ship is safe at harbor, but that's not what a ship's for.
Right.
So it's, yes, you can live a pain-free lifestyle, but, there, like for me, there may be one day, and I tell people, like, this is my definition of when it's okay to quit on something. If you don't have a passion for it anymore, if whatever is causing you impediment or pain, and not just physical pain, but like anguish of what actually it takes to get there, if that exceeds your drive to do that thing, then it's okay to say, hey, this isn't for me anymore. But like me, I've still got a passion to get back on the platform and lift. And so as long as that fire's still burning, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to try and make it back there. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't work out, at least I can say I did every single thing that I possibly could do and it didn't work out. But I gave it my all. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's very important. For my mantra of how I like to live my life is to know I left it all on the table. So I think reading The Gift of Injury. So guys, we haven't talked about it yet, but The Gift of Injury is the book with Brian and Stu and their story of meeting and Brian's horrific injuries, and you can see the MRIs in there. It really spoke to me as an athlete, and I think that's one cool thing about being able to be around you, Stu, for the few hours I've been around you, is you're looking at it from that perspective. Yes, you want to get somebody pain-free, but you understand that mentality. That's why when you say, turn it on, I know what you mean. I know what you mean when you say turn it on, because you've seen it so many times in somebody's eyes of turning it on. And most doctors you go to, and what do they tell you? Lifting hurts, well, stop lifting.
Well, I've been around enough warriors to know what makes them tick, and we did say off camera earlier, it's always been my philosophy not to dismiss the intelligence of people, and do my best job to give them the information, give them the training techniques and the tools to do what it is that fuels that warrior. And then after that, I'll give them all I know and then say, now you must make your decision. So I'm not here to tell you to do something or not do it, but I'll tell you what I know on how to do it. And it's always a joy to work with the warriors.
And that kind of brings the question you asked full circle about the way he looks at things. It was, hey, this is what I would do. This is what I would advise if you were my son. I advise you to not powerlift anymore. But you seem like your mind's made up. Let's get you pain-free, and let's work on building pain-free capacity once again. So that was, we didn't put the cart before the horse. It was get pain-free, stop picking the scab all the time. Then we'll have you back up in 6 months and we'll talk about your powerlifting career.
Yeah.
So it was a process, and it isn't going to happen just overnight. And I'm sure you've had a lot of people reach out to you through Instagram, through YouTube, through Facebook, and say, here's what you should be doing, Layne. Here's what you shouldn't be doing. You should be stretching. You should be doing this mobility work. And you need to seek out the best people in their field, not the best social media gurus, the people that have the most followers. It's the people that have been in the trenches, like Dr. McGill, 33 years at the University of Waterloo, worked with countless top athletes, rehabilitated a lot of backs. And you need to go to the best, seek out the best.
Here's the thing, guys, there's so much quackery with injury stuff. I mean, I would just say that I'd hurt my back again, and I had 18 different people tell me, well, you need to do this thing, you need to do that thing. You don't even know what the cause of my pain is. How can you know what I need to do? And I had people recommend massage therapy, chiropractic, reverse hypers, this exercise, that exercise, this stretch, that stretch. Well, how do you know? That would be like me saying, Brian, you need to be on a keto diet. I don't know anything about you, but you need to be on the keto diet. That's not
one size fits all prescription.
It's not appropriate. It's never appropriate. And especially when you're dealing with injuries. And if you guys are injured, like first off, I can tell you, if you have a back injury, absolutely get the back mechanic. If you don't have a back injury and you never want one, get the back mechanic. If you're a competitive athlete, get the gift of injury, even if you've never been injured or injured seriously. Because we talked about this earlier. You can learn from your own mistakes, but you can also learn from other people's mistakes and people who have been there. So why would you want to have to cross the road that I've already had to cross of being in pain, not able to do the things I want to do? The low point in my life was being on the floor, and the only way I could be not in excruciating pain was to lie on my side on the floor and not being able to play with my kids even at that moment. Why would you want to get there? Don't get there. Learn from the mistakes of other people, okay? These are, I have no problem saying these are two of the best books I've ever read, and especially about injury. So I highly recommend you guys pick them up. Guys, can you tell us where they can get those two books?
Yeah, you can get it at all the different Amazons, Amazon.ca, there's Amazon, is it .uk? One on Australia's .au.
Yeah. No, it's not. There is no Amazon.au, believe it or not. They only have digital products. But
Gotcha.
It's on Amazon.com, .ca, .uk, .es in Spain, Germany, etc. But it's also on your website, PowerRackStrength.com, and on ours, BackFitPro.com, which has a few other items of interest that folks might find helpful for whatever it is they need with their back and whatever it is they need for their strength ambitions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, had a great time working with you.
Yeah.
You had the ultimate assessment today, but
Yeah.
in the clinical standpoint, and then we think we did a pretty good, damn good job assessing you, under the bar, and we made some progress today, and I had a great time working with you, man.
135 pain free, and I can tell you, you called it. He said, as we're doing the assessment, he said, this is what I'm going to see on the MRI, and it's exactly what he saw on the MRI. Yeah, exactly. So, again, guys, there's good people out there. I believe you have a network of providers as well now, right?
I do. It takes us, people want, do you have a provider in Chicago? Well, no, I don't. It takes us a long time to train them.
Yeah.
So they are sparse. We're very rigorous in the training process and the audit to make sure they truly are good in getting back patients better if my name's on it. But we had another one qualify yesterday.
I watched the process.
For San Francisco.
Awesome.
So thanks for asking that, but people can find a McGill method provider if they go on the website.
Excellent.
Around the world.
Excellent. I'll put those links in the description, guys.
Thank
Stu, great meeting you. Thank you for your help.
Thanks very
Brian,
much, Layne.
great meeting you. Thank you for your help.
Yeah.
Guys, go check out the
And I
website.
have enjoyed meeting you very, very much.
Good.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
I'm
you.
glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. You hear that, guys? I'm not as big of a jerk as everybody thinks I am. Go check out the websites. Get the books. It'll help you guys out a ton. You're welcome.